Hi everyone, I'm Azza. I'll be talking about involving adolescents in health research and specifically about some of the strategies that can be used to address some of the commonly experienced barriers to adolescent involvement in health research. So historically, there has been a focus on involving adolescents in research as research participants, but in the last 2 decades, there has been an increased demand or recognition for involving adolescents in health research as partners. So when we talk about involving them in health research as partners, we can use several different methods. So for example, participatory action research, as mentioned in the previous presentation. And using these methods, young people can be involved at all stages of the research process. So just to give you one example, when you're involving them in designing and planning research study, they can be asked to share their recommendations for different strategies that can be used to recruit adolescent research participants, or different methods that can be used during the data collection process. When you're involving them at the dissemination stage, they can contribute by co-authoring the reports or peer-reviewed articles, or they can write blogs to share lay summary of the findings from the paper, the findings from the project, and they can also use social media to present or share some of the findings from the research project. So, as I mentioned before, that in the past 2 decades there is an increased demand for adolescent involvement in health research, and there are multiple reasons for that. So first of all, there is a growing recognition that adolescents and children have a right to be involved in all the decisions that affect them, and that also applies to their involvement in research that is about their health or other issues that affect them, as per the UN Convention on Rights of the Child. Additionally, when you're co-creating or co-producing knowledge with adolescents, it improves transparency in the process and makes researchers and the research team more accountable. And finally, there's a lot of evidence that when you're involving adolescents in health research, it is very beneficial to the young people themselves, and also it improves the quality of the research in different ways. Despite this evidence on the importance of involving adolescents or young people in health research, young people are currently under-involved in research studies. So there's a recent review found that less than 1% of studies on child and adolescent health report involving them as advisors. And there are several reasons for this under-involvement of adolescents in health research, but one of the main reasons is that adolescent involvement is challenging. There are certain factors that hinder their involvement in research. And while there are a lot of barriers reported in the literature about the barriers that are experienced during the involvement process, both from the perspective of researchers and young people, there are very limited mitigation strategies that are reported to address these barriers. So this highlighted a need to identify strategies that can be used to address these barriers from the perspective of researchers and young people. So we conducted a qualitative study to explore the mitigation strategies that can be used to address these barriers. We recruited 25 adolescents aged between 10 to 24 years, who had previous experience of contributing to research projects as advisors, consultants, co-researchers, and 25 researchers who had previous experience of engaging young people in health research as advisors or consultants or collaborators. They were involved from 21 different countries, including high-income countries, middle-income, and low-income countries. We use different channels for recruitments, like social media. We worked with youth health organizations and also accessed adolescents through youth health researchers. We conducted all of the interviews online via Zoom, and we used reflexive thematic analysis to analyze the data. Overall, we identified different strategies that can be categorized under 3 main themes. So these themes are adequate preparation and planning for adolescent involvement in research, building relationships with stakeholders and adolescents, and making research involvement engaging. So when we talk about the first theme of preparation and planning, both adolescents and researchers highlighted the need to identify all the key things that you need to make adolescent involvement successful, and then outlining a plan for how you're going to provide or secure those things. So for example, having adequate resources and organizational buy-in is important and essential for successful adolescent involvement. And when it comes to resources, researchers suggested that sometimes they make the mistake of asking for money that's too little for meaningful involvement, and that's somewhat related to their limited knowledge of adolescent involvement. They sometimes don't know how exactly young people will be involved at different stages, so they're unaware of how much money would be needed to involve them at those different stages. So they highlighted that you need to come up with a plan for how exactly they would be involved in order to do proper budgeting for their involvement. Similarly, for organizational buy-in, researchers proposed that if you're working within an organization that's new to participatory research or adolescent involvement, it's important to highlight the impact or the added value of adolescent involvement, that what's going to change as a result of adolescent involvement, why they should be involved. And that's something that you can use to make a case for their involvement. And you can work with 2 or 3 key people in the senior administration who have a more favorable attitude towards participatory research, and in this way, hopefully, you can change things gradually. Both researchers and adolescents highlighted that they both need training in order to be prepared to work together effectively, but the content of the training would be different for both of them. And the key area that researchers need training on is to address adultism, which is a perception that the input or knowledge of adults is more valuable than the input of young people. So they suggested that this is something that they need to focus on or need to discuss during the training. And for adolescents, they suggested that the training should be task-specific. So if they're engaged in data analysis, the training should focus on that. If they're engaged in dissemination, then maybe we could incorporate their public speaking or communication skills. Ensuring safety and considering the ethical implications is also something that needs to be considered at the preparation and planning stage. And both researchers and young people highlighted that when you talk about ethical implications of adolescent involvement, the focus should be on protecting all of their rights. So it's not just about their right to protection, but it's about balancing their right to protection with their right to participation, and adding policies and procedures that maximize their participation while also ensuring that that exposure does not put them at an increased risk of harm. They both suggested that we need to acknowledge adolescents for their work and contribution, for their contribution and their time, and they proposed different strategies that can be used to acknowledge them, like gift vouchers or mentioning them as, acknowledging them as co-authors. But they highlighted that whatever the method of acknowledgement is, this is something that should be agreed in advance to avoid disappointments later on. And adolescents also suggested that they should also ask for acknowledgement if they are not being acknowledged properly. The second theme was around building relationships, and when talking about building relationships, both researchers and adolescents suggested that it's not just about focusing on building relationships with adolescents, but also with the community overall. So, for example, one of the key strategies for building relationships with community-based stakeholders is to work with youth health organizations. This is something that can facilitate recruitment as well, and it can also help build relationships with adolescents later on if you're coming in with an organization that young people are already familiar with or already have a relationship with. When it comes to building relationships with adolescents, they suggested different strategies that can be used, like getting to know them, spending time with them, but they also emphasized that a key way to build trust and respect-based relationships with adolescents is to acknowledge and value their contributions. And one of the ways to do that could be to show them how their input is being incorporated or to increase their level of involvement. And adolescents also emphasize that it's important for them to know that researchers care about their well-being, and one of the ways to do that is to make sure that they're accommodating the needs and preferences of adolescents. Clear and consistent communication was suggested as a key strategy for building relationships with all of the stakeholders. Adolescents said that we need to know what is being done with our input. And it's important to maintain communication and keep them posted about different stages of the research process or what's happening with the research study, even if they're not meeting regularly. Lastly, they talked about making adolescent involvement engaging. So that starts with creating a suitable environment. And one of the key things when it comes to creating a suitable environment is to make sure that the interests and skills of young people are aligned with the tasks that they are working on or the roles that they take on. In addition to some other commonly reported things like making sure that the venue is accessible or providing transport for them or providing refreshment during meetings. Adolescents and researchers also said that it's very important to use innovative and flexible methods when you're engaging adolescents. And sometimes researchers are hesitant to do that because there is a perception that when you're moving away from traditional methods of research and you're using more innovative methods, your research might be considered less credible or less rigorous. But when you're engaging adolescents, it's very important to use innovative and flexible methods to keep them engaged. And they suggested different methods that could be used. Both of them talked about the importance of motivating adolescents and knowing what will motivate adolescents. So, for example, a researcher shared that we sometimes often offer these standard things to recognize their input, like vouchers or adding them as co-authors. But sometimes what really matters to adolescents is to know that they are creating an impact. And one of the ways to ensure that is to increase their level of involvement and involve them in a meaningful way or share the decision-making power with them. And lastly, they talked about addressing power imbalances in order to make sure that adolescent involvement is engaging. They showed different practical strategies, such as removing titles like doctor from your name when you're working with adolescents, being on the same level with them. But adolescents also highlighted that using a task-oriented approach where everyone in the room is focused on coming together to solve a problem helps address some of these power imbalances. Overall, these strategies are interlinked. So, for example, when you're ensuring that you're adequately preparing and planning for adolescent involvement, it would also help improve building relationships with adolescents and other stakeholders, and would make sure that the research involvement is engaging for adolescents. So most of these strategies are not entirely new. These things have been suggested in the literature before, but mainly from the perspective of researchers. So this is the first time these strategies have been proposed by adolescents and specifically linked to the barriers to adolescent involvement in research. And there were multiple different strategies proposed, and the implementation of these strategies requires collaborative effort on part of the funders, researchers, senior management in the organization, and adolescents. And so these things are considered to be very basic, like building relationship, adequately preparing, or planning for adolescent involvement, or making research engaging, and these things have been talked about in the literature. But the fact that these were mentioned multiple times by both researchers and young people highlights that these are foundational building blocks of ensuring meaningful and successful adolescent involvement. And lastly, I just want to thank the young people and other members of the research team. Thank you.